Hello, welcome to the Bronze Age Monsters bonus show. This is a show that Matt and I make each and every week for our loyal patrons. We have this season been talking about a devil movie every week that we have listened or watched along with our fellow Discord members. And yeah, we've kind of kept you up on our lives, what we've been reading, what we've been watching. And this is it. This is the final bonus show for this season. What do you think of that, Matt?
Mixed feelings. I mean, it'll be nice to have a little break, but I always love the bonus show. It's always fun.
Yeah, the bonus show is always fun. I like it. So yeah, we're celebrating. Matt, you're drinking Westward.
Yep.
What cask?
It's that one. It was the spring release. I think it's called 2 malts or double malt or something.
Damn.
Yeah. Been actually taking my time on this one. Actually had it for 3 or 4 months. So
wow.
It's a rarity here.
Yeah, that is a rarity. I'm drinking Campari and soda. And yeah, so we're going to be talking about a devil movie. That was the last one we rolled. Just in case you hadn't been keeping track, we did not go into Triple Jeopardy. We did not have to watch a anti-devil movie, Christian, inspirational thing from the 80s, which I was actually really looking forward to, but somehow we didn't. I was kind of thinking today, I was like, wonder what the odds, I bet the odds were maybe a little higher than we thought for rolling Triple Jeopardy. Have you done the Powerball odds on that?
It's been a while since I've done probability math, but I just find it. Hey.
I took the ring off and it squirted on me.
The beer squirted on you?
Yes, you're going to have to drink it.
So I need to drink it.
The ring off. Hi, Renee.
You are on camera. This is the bonus show.
Oh my God!
Anyway. I don't know. I wish someone, I think I've made this plea before, but I think this is not hard math to figure out that we just didn't get there. I pulled up His Satanic Majesty's movie list here. I'm looking at what we didn't pick out of the 30 offerings. We didn't get to Race with the Devil, which we are remedying. We'll figure that out soon. But we are watching that.
Wanted. The
one we wanted the entire season. We didn't get. So I have this highlighted. We are watching it in Defiance of the Devil. There's one called The Demon Lover, Brotherhood of Satan, Devil's Kiss, Legacy of Satan, and Good Against Evil, a TV movie from 1978. Those are the ones we didn't get to. And yeah, I feel like I could figure out the probability here if I were a little sharper or more well rested or something. But I mean, honestly, we went to Double Jeopardy, I think 3 or 4 times.
I don't know. I think 3 times.
Yeah. So it seems highly improbable.
That we didn't get to it.
That's mathematical.
That's mathematical.
It's mathematically improbable.
You feel like we should have gotten into Triple Jeopardy at least once and gone into the sub basement of Christian films.
I thought towards the end here, this last 5 bonus show episodes, I thought we'd watch at least 2 Christian films.
Yeah, me too.
So a little disappointed.
Yeah, me too. But I mean, if some math wizard out there can prove us wrong and say, nope, it's a high probability that you wouldn't have done it, I would love to hear that. But let's not focus on the past.
Well, before we go off the past, I'm going to post the links to the Christian Scare 80s stuff that we watch. Good. I'll put it in the watch along thread on our Discord just because I curated them and blah blah blah. So we might watch a short one as a prelude to Race with the Devil when we do that watch along. So get a little taste of what was going on in the 80s. If you're younger, you can see what all the fucking freak out was about on the news. People on 60 Minutes and shit like that doing segments about Satan worship in America. We'll watch a little short thing like that. Then we'll watch Race with the Devil with Peter Fonda and Warren Oates.
That sounds awesome. No, that'll be really cool.
Okay.
So, but yeah, for this episode, we watched a Italian film called Beyond the Door from 1974. It is starring Juliette Mills, who is Haley Mills' sister. And we definitely were hearing a lot of Haley Mills at the beginning. And we're like, oh yeah, it's her sister. So the director is Ovidio G. Asanitas. I don't even know how to begin to pronounce that.
That sounds right to me.
Okay, yeah. But this is a blatant ripoff of The Exorcist. So blatant that the company that owns The Exorcist successfully sued.
Yeah, Warner Brothers won that one.
Warner Brothers got money, an undisclosed sum from these filmmakers. And as we've been kind of chatting and in our Discord this week, this movie improbably made a lot of money, which is really shocking to me.
Yeah, it cost $350,000 to make, and it made about $15 million, I think, globally, but still. I mean, that's a lot of bread for a spaghetti Exorcist ripoff.
Yeah, it really, really is.
So let's just say, like, we noted when we were watching it, just immediately, like, you could tell it's Italian out of the gate.
Yep.
Had a lot of parallels early on with The Visitor, another Italian film we watched, where there's just what made us say that, do you think?
I don't know. I thought it was a lot of the American exteriors, I think, is where we first started, because the exteriors of this film were shot in San Francisco and all the interiors were at, I don't know, Cinecittà or whatever studio is in Rome. And yeah, so I thought that's what kind of got us on that path. Am I wrong? Was something else?
That was definitely it, where we could tell it was dubbed, and you saw the Golden Gate Bridge like right out of the gate. Mm-hmm. For me, also, was that like American horror films make a point of like the music really keying up the mood, whereas with an Italian horror films, a lot of times, like Goblin will just start playing loud fucking metal, where it's like, so there's like this big brassy weird music cues that reminded me of The Visitor kind of here and there, where it's almost like bordering on pre-disco, like just weird cheesy Euro rock.
Yeah, I mean, it starts out with, you know, this woman, Juliet Mills, her husband, who's like a Phil Spector type producer, just abusing his musicians in the studio. And yeah, it's so weird. I mean, sometimes, you know, I've watched a lot of Italian film. I know they're all dubbed. I know there's no live sound. There's just not, you know, that's just part of the deal. I mean, I know it didn't start with Fellini, but I loved, like, when I finally learned, like, especially Fellini loved that because so he could just scream at his actors constantly while they're filming, which is amazing to imagine. But yeah, the dubbing was particularly weird in this, I think, because, you know, even in a Fellini or any other great Italian filmmakers, there's going to be background noise, there's going to be Foley and things like that. And especially I noticed between the two children, there's these two kids, and when they were talking to each other, it was like fucking Escape from Witch Mountain. Like it was like they were just speaking telepathically. It was so strange. Like the sound in this movie was not great overall. Yeah.
And so, you know, I grew up watching Italian movies dubbed, just thinking that was just the American version. But then as I got older and then more into film, I found out that they dub everything in Italy because there's different dialects in different regions of the country. And so they just, as a general practice, they just dub everything. For different markets. So like you're saying, they would be in I think a convertible car driving down, what's the crazy street? Lombard in San Francisco, like talking to each other. It's just dead. It's like egg crates in a studio VO booth. Like,
yeah,
it was so weird.
It was so weird. And there's obviously like 40-mile-an-hour winds, you know, just like blowing everything around. It's so weird. Like, just not a good film decision in a lot of ways. There's a lot of weird decisions. A lot of strange decisions in this film.
The headline for me was that was a choice. Like, that would be my takeaway of this. Like, I think the other thing that was reminding me of The Visitor out of the gate was, you know, The Visitor had the daughter that's very, she's special, but and there she's very mouthy and sassy and older than her years. And there's a daughter in this film that is talks like a dropout LSD, like 1968 Vietnam protester or something like that, to her parents. Like, she says man, and
Yeah, it was weird. It was like she was channeling Dennis Hopper, I think is what you were saying.
Totally. I didn't say that. No, that's perfect.
It was so weird. And I mean, the kids were so strange that I almost liked it. Like, I didn't like watching it, but I was telling Alicia or telling someone about it. I'm like, oh, that's funny because, the daughter, she talked like Dennis Hopper. She's reading a copy of Love Story, the novel, where she has a backpack that's full of like 40 copies of Love Story, which I thought was just the weirdest fucking choice.
Weirdest note.
So weird. But the greatest thing that we just laughed about for the entire film is that the son, the little brother, he would drink endless cans of Campbell's pea soup, which is concentrate.
Mm-hmm.
Add some water to that. Mm-hmm. He would poke a little hole in it and drink it through a straw. The entire time. That's all we saw him eat.
Yeah.
Campbell's pea soup, just in the can, just stick a fucking straw in the can, and that's what he ate. So weird.
So yeah, like how Juggalos and Insane Clown Posse fans like Faygo soda. He's that way with Campbell's pea soup. He lives on it. That's all he wants. So there was, when it started, like the first act, I was really digging the weirdness of this stuff, like the bad audio, ADR, the lack of Foley, those weird choices of the kids being who they were, which just felt like, was written by aliens. And then as it settled into its role, I just kind of got less and less enamored with it. The Italian name is Cisse, which is Who Are You? Which is a better name than Beyond the Door. There's an interesting practice of naming things for the American market of Italian exports. This one has, I believe, 3 sequels, or I think there's 3 sequels that are totally unrelated to one another. That are just that's another common Italian genre film practice. Is just you made a little bit of money with one of them, take another film that's totally unrelated, and just slap 2 on it.
And didn't you say Mario Bava directed one of those?
Yes, he did. I think he did the sequel. Yeah.
Which obviously was just a film he wanted to make, and then they just slapped the title on. Yes, so weird, like so slapdash and strange. But you're right. I had the same feeling. Like the first 20 minutes of this film, I'm like, oh, this is going to be like The Visitor. This is going to be awesome. Like, I'm going to love this. And my interest just tanked. By halfway through this movie, I was struggling to stay interested in it. I don't know what it was. I mean, I think maybe when it really leans heavily into the Exorcist ripoff portion of the film, I don't know. Maybe that's just when I stopped caring altogether.
It's funny. It had a repelling and drawing power to me at the same time. So when it's just straight up ripoffs of the Exorcist, Reagan. I'm sorry, I always get them mixed up. Doing her possession thing and speaking with the voice. Like that was, it perked me up because I was just comparing it to the source, but also, like you said, it was just like noise. Like it's just nothing beats the dialogue that was written for The Exorcist in the book. Probably, I'm presuming, ripped right out of the book. So these cat and mouse games that the demon does with the priests and stuff like that throughout The Exorcist are amazing and gripping, and you're watching a kid with chapped lips talk to a priest, but your hair on the back of your neck standing up through all The Exorcist. And then this one, it was just like, okay, she's drooling green. Who gives a shit? I don't know.
It was so weird. I mean, and since we recorded, William Friedkin died.
Yep.
So I feel like we did him a grand disservice somehow by and that was me. I rolled. The Dark Lord rolled through me, but I was a bad conduit.
This is not on you.
Okay. I mean, I'm going to take some of the responsibility, but yeah, this was, I don't know. Like you said, I mean, neither of us really want to talk so much about this because it wasn't great. Again, it was fun to watch on our watch along on Discord. And if anyone who's a patron that is listening or watching this, you're going to have one last chance this season to watch a devil movie with us on Discord. And I highly recommend it. It's so much fun. It really saves watching movies like this. I mean,
yeah. I think maybe we should watch it next week, when we would normally record as an official like ending to the season or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that's great.
We'll put that on socials and put it on Patreon and everywhere else. So we'd love to have you there. Race with the Devil is a beloved cult film. It's one of those ones that's entertaining. You can watch it at a drive-in, but it's also competently made and entertaining at the same time.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I'm all about it. I was, just before we do our thumbs here, I was mildly interested in the backstory because it starts with a character named Dimitri who is having a conversation with the devil. It started with VO from the devil. There was just interesting things in the beginning. The mystery of Dimitri and his relationship to this character and why this whole thing kicks off and this snowball starts rolling down the hill was interesting. And again, I don't know if it played out the way that it was ultimately a payoff or made it worth it or not. But the ending was interesting, kind of a surprise ending. And you can watch it on YouTube. I think that's how we saw it. Yeah, I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it.
Okay, well, I'll go first. I hated it, so I'm going to give a claw down.
Yeah, I have a hard time here because Pea Soup Kid and Love Story Girl, it's almost recommendable based on that, but I have to go down as well.
No, Pea Soup Kid and the kids, the brother and sister, were by far my favorite part of this film, and they're not a huge part of this film. So for me, that didn't save it. Not to say that I didn't love both of them, because I loved them. They were great.
Yeah. So we wanted to do a little bit of a wrap here. I was trying to remember what this was called back from when I taught, but when we did like pre-K or K to 2, when you give kids feedback on projects, they used to say this thing was like it's 2 stars and I forgot what the other thing was. It's a question mark, whatever. It's like you say 2 positive things about a kid's work, and then you give them one little area they could have focused on and improved on. It's a gentle way to give feedback to little kids that don't have the capacity to take criticism. We thought we'd do that with our devil movies for the season. Talk about 2 of our favorites and the most least enjoyed one. Why don't you go with your second, or do you have them ranked, or is it just 2 you liked a lot?
No, I have them ranked. I did 3, but I'll go with my top 2.
Okay.
So number 2 for me was Necromancy with Orson Welles and Barbara. I can't remember what her name is.
You like that girl, though.
I know, I love her, and I forget her name constantly. But no, I loved that movie. I thought about it a lot. I've watched it a couple times since we've watched it. Alicia and I watched it together. We loved it. That was one, just going back through the list of all the ones that we watched, and the ones that stand out are like the ones that I would watch on the watch along, and then I would love it so much that I would want to watch it again before we talked about it. And then Alicia and I would watch it, and she would normally love it. And so Necromancy was high up on that.
I really enjoyed that one as well. I love the look and feel of it. I think we said at the time, like, to me, as this was a compliment, it felt like a TV movie with a bigger budget. It's just very comforting, and it's just got this Northern California vibe that I just absolutely love, and like that kind of late 70s or early 70s stuff. I totally dug Necromancy as well. It's
funny I was just going to say, it's funny you said that about TV movies, because looking back, we seem to like that aesthetic this season. Like the ones we liked, the genuinely liked the actual TV movies, like Satan School for Girls, and it was weird. But that kind of low budgety, we liked a lot of the low budget, like TV movie ones, and a couple of the Italian ones. So I don't know. I noticed that as a through line on the stuff that we did really enjoy. Yeah.
And that's not a surprise for me that my aesthetic, at least. I find TV movies and 70s TV very comforting. Just because it reminds me of when I was a kid and my grandparents, watching stuff on the couch with your grandpa sitting next to you, sucking down a hams and watching Jim Rockford or whatever. It's just like, I immediately feel comforted and safe. So I love 70s TV. Okay. You mentioned that we like some of the Italian ones. So my runner-up for favorite might be a surprise, but it is the Eerie Midnight Horror Show, also known as The Sexorcist, also known as Exorcismo. This is one that, much like Last Exit to Brooklyn, I had a very violent reaction against as it started. I was like, this is garbage. I hate this. This is disgusting pornographic filth. And,
You
and then
did.
as it was going on, I'm like, okay, this is actually pretty cool. And then by the end, I was like, okay, this is like my new favorite movie.
You did. You had such a strong reaction to that.
Yeah. So that was the one where a woman is an art student, I believe, and they find some statues, sculptures of the thieves that were crucified next to Christ, and they start working on it, and it comes alive, and it's possessed by a demon, and it, I think, rapes her, and then she starts becoming possessed. I said at the time, like it was kind of a fever dream. There was accidental brilliance in it where I think the director was incompetent, but accidentally made some surreal, feverish kind of weirdness that I dug. And then as it went on, it just kind of kept unfolding. And it felt like the director was stretching and trying things, and not everything worked, but everything was interesting. And walked away from it thinking, damn, I'd watch that again anytime. I love that movie. So that was my number 2.
I would not have guessed that, but I may have to revisit that. I remember also having a pretty strong reaction to that and being like, yeah, there's occasional moments of brilliance, but yeah, it was a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot. And I think it's a lot in a transgressive, cool way. I think it was trying to be sleazy, and I think that it accidentally kind of went into that, again, like Jodorowsky kind of like weird fever dream thing.
Yes.
Like, okay, this is actually surreal coolness. Yeah.
Santa Sangre way. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. So can I just make a weird prediction?
Okay.
I think our number ones are going to be the same.
Oh, okay. Then I misguessed your number 1.
Oh.
What is yours?
Simon King of the Witches.
Ooh, okay. That's not mine.
Okay. All right.
That's damn good. And it probably we probably could have done 3 because it's right there. Yeah. What do you want to say about Simon? I mean, we just talked about it, but
I know we just talked about it, and I know it's just still fresh in my mind, but God, I just loved everything about that film. I loved the main character's performance. There were just so many choices and colors in the film that were so strange. He lives in a storm drain. His sidekick is like a 18-year-old hustler. Like, I mean, just the jokes, the insanity, just chanting in my head ever since the magnetic, electric. We still say that around our house just from time to time, as you should, as one should after you watch Simon King of the Witches, because it's fucking awesome.
I think of all the performances of the entire season, Andrew Prynes was the strongest out of all the films we watched.
It's so good. It's so deliberate and effortless. Like he just had this character, and he didn't need to overplay it, but he was so confident. Like, you're right. Like, the performance was out of this world, and I think it made that movie rise above all others for me. I don't know. I love it. I mean, I want to own it. I want to own the Blu-ray on that. Yeah,
totally good call. Very high up on my list. I felt like there was a dragon I was chasing all season, though. A high that I was seeking, and I did not achieve, and that was Set by the Devil's Rain.
Hey, I get it. I mean, that was such a weird part of this season. Literally, no, well, not the first. We watched Satan War, and
that
then
was unofficial, though.
That was unofficial. Unofficial. But when we watched The Devil's Rain, I mean, I think if you were to choose a perfect film this season, I think it would absolutely be The Devil's Rain.
Yeah, the special effects sequence, the prolonged orgiastic ending of melting cult members. It just felt very like Bronze Age monsters. Like, it just felt like that, just something that would happen in a Curtis magazine. Just, some Filipino artist just drawing the shit out of a bunch of fucking weirdos with mustaches and melting in the desert. Tom
Skerritt just looked like he was drawn by... I don't know, fucking Alfredo Alcala or Sonny Trinidad or something. Like, he just is. Even Shatner too. Like Ernest Borgnine, all of it. Like, no, I fully agree that it's an incredible film. Also one I would love to own. Yeah.
I can see Gene Colan drawing that entire ending, the last 15 minutes of that film. And just going to town with it. Not a perfect story, but when we watched it together, it was my second time seeing it, and I loved it. The first time I thought it was just okay when I was evaluating it for another podcast I did. And this time through, I was just like, this is amazing, man. It's just, it's got weird Lovecraftian notes, but it's, I just, and that special effects cannot be beat. I don't know how many gallons of tempura paint or whatever they went through, making melting cult members. But
I think just the choice to have it go on for like 11 minutes, just straight. I mean, I've never seen a sequence like that just continued on. It was just, it was like a Sun Ra song.
I was going to say Anagata of Satan movie sequences.
Oh no, it was a wonderful. Did you have a third that was bubbling under?
I did. I was gonna consider it an honorable mention or a wild card more than anything else.
Okay, let's do it. What do you have?
Okay, Satan War actually grew in stature every fucking week. Not really, I don't know why, but the further I got away from it, I was like, this movie is so incompetent.
It's amazing
nonsense that it's just fucking gold. And
I love
referencing it.
We talked about it. We talked about it every single watch along. We would bring it up. It was like some kind of weird, like, I don't know. It became canon, like weird Bible books for us or something. We're just like, oh, well, not as bad as Satan War or not as good as Satan War. And then as the season went on, we're like, kind of miss Satan War.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It felt to me like, when you watch Mystery Science Theater where there's like a running joke based on something from like season 1. Yeah. And like, if you've watched all the way back then, like, it becomes totemic. Like it becomes like this godhead of like, in stature.
And who watched Satan War with us? It was like 2 people. It was like Letty and
I think Jason Farrell was there, and like maybe Jason one of the maybe Rob. I don't remember.
I think Rob was there too. But oh my god, yeah, that was like our weird like Warhol factory moment.
Yes,
it was I was just watching this incompetently made experimental film that just became incredible in a lot of ways.
What was yours? Your wild card?
My wild card was Nazareno Cruz y El Lobo.
Nice.
Yeah, which I've thought about a lot.
Yeah.
Like I've thought about it enough to where I'm just like, I want to watch it again. And I'm prepared to get that song stuck in my head again. I don't give a shit. I loved it. I thought that movie was so fucking weird. The sequence that song, I think about that sequence all the time. It never has left my brain. Just the plowing, the open fish kisses, the underwater, like just everything. It was the most like 70s foreign thing I'd ever seen.
Yep, totally.
Like I was just like, well, even the song, the song that we talked about was a massive worldwide hit, except here.
Yeah.
So it was like everything about it was alien, like some weird, bizarre country and I don't know. And it was great. And that's Argentina. So it was, I loved it. Yeah. Another one I'm probably going to want to own.
Yeah. That was amazing. And I think we discussed at the time that like, it was artfully done. It wasn't always perfect, but it's definitely a film that's its own entity and that sticks with you and kind of changes your DNA after you see it. And I love that about it. I thought it was amazing. And I still need to make some GIFs out of the devil and Nazareno laughing. That should just be a looping. It's an eternal GIF of just like cutting.
I know,
back and forth between them laughing.
Please make that and share it with all of us because I think about that scene all the time. Like it does. I don't know. I loved it. So yeah, that was my wild card.
Good. Those were good ones. Now let's do the unfortunate business.
Okay, who goes first on the bad one?
You.
Devilman.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah, Devilman, I could not find one redeeming thing about it. It was bizarre. It made no sense. It took what is supposed to be a beloved manga series that is, best-selling and everyone loves and just turned it into a pile of shit. Every special effects scene looked like a cut scene from a PlayStation 1 game.
Yeah.
And it's so bad and confusing and painful. That was a painful watch for me. So that was easy. I mean, we watched some bad films.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there was at least 6 terrible films that have that are now in the canon in my head of like worst films I've ever seen.
Mhm.
And Devilman was at the top for me. There are a couple that bubble under, but Devilman was the number one.
Yeah. That is like the first one I think of every time I think of like the clunkers.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to be too obvious. I'm glad you called it out because it definitely deserves to be called out. I didn't have expectations. I didn't know that was a beloved manga from the late 60s, early 70s until we picked it and watched it and we're like, what the fuck is this? For me, mine was more of crestfallen expectations. So for me, Blue Blood was the biggest disappointment. Oliver Reed, I love him in 70s roles. He makes a meal of stuff that he's in. And it's not necessarily the film's fault that it was on a list of devil movies, but at the same time, I don't care. This thing, it was so frustrating just having this class commentary on the classes and whatever. And
but done so poorly, just so bad, really
repetitive, goes nowhere. The ending again with the last 3 minutes of the film was interesting. Maybe the last 10 minutes, where the switcheroo happens and the whatever, where it's like, ooh, that's an interesting little blah blah. But the rest of it was just bad, man, bad, and bad accent.
Weird choice. His choice was so strange in that. I think that you chose that because, I feel like you took that disappointment very personally. Mm-hmm. Because on paper, this should have been one of your favorite films of the season.
Yeah, I think that's definitely.
You're reading the synopsis. You're just like, oh, I might as well buy it now.
Yeah.
On Blu-ray because this is gonna be amazing. And it was so bad. And Oliver Reed is really tremendous in most every film I've ever seen him in, and he was a fucking disaster in this.
Yeah, it was a clunker. And even taking aside the fact that the devil aspect was only really in an unreliable narrator's mind.
There was no devil. I mean, there was hardly anything in there that even classified it as a devil film.
Yeah, it was just a really bad ripoff of Turn of the Screw, as far as like a servant who comes to a wealthy country manor, and seems to be a little unhinged and kind of lose her shit. And we have no idea how much of this is her perspective of things or how much is actually happening. But it doesn't matter because it fucking blew fucking goats.
Yep.
So that's mine. Do you have any honorable mention? What's your honorable mention? Dishonorable mention for turds?
I mean, honestly, it would have been that was the one that came to mind. Absolutely, that was my number. That was my number 2.
Yeah.
I mean, and I felt like a lot of the other ones that were awful were almost so unmemorable in a lot of ways. Like there was another kind of one that looked like it might have been. I can't even really remember a couple of the ones that I didn't like because I just think they were so slight. We watched a lot of slight films this season.
My runner-up for bad was Satan's Slave, which was another
that's
British
the one I was thinking of.
Like mansion. I think they who was that? Oh, Michael Gow, and his niece comes to live with him, and her parents apparently die in a car wreck on the way to blah blah, and they were really just trying to sacrifice somebody to bring a wizard ancestor back to life. And it was fucking just nonsense. People talking in fucking gaudy mansion drawing rooms for 90 minutes. Honestly,
atrocious film.
And first cousins trying to fuck each other for some reason, which
that's right.
Nobody seemed to have a problem with.
Nope, no one had a problem with that.
Giuliani's over there. I don't know what's going on, but it's fucking weird.
It was so gross. Yeah, totally. I mean, I think that's. Yeah, I mean, if 3 that we brought up right there is, those were the worst by far.
Yeah. All right. Well, we have a fun list of movies for next season. We have The Living Mummy, at The Living Colossus, The Golem, Scarecrow. I've picked films for all of these. So we're reading these issues for season 5 in the order they were published. So we're kind of jumping around characters, Brother Voodoo, this, that, and the other. And I have a bunch of films picked for each week, to correspond with that issue, that character, that type of film. So I'm looking forward to that. Not going to be bound by the 70s. That was more of a Satan kind of specific thing. This is, yeah, we have some fun stuff like, Mexican wrestling movie where they fight a mummy and just weird shit like that. It's going to be a lot more fun, bad movies, I think.
That's great. No, I'm very excited for that. That'll be great for the watch alongs.
Yeah. So cool.
Kickstarter Catch-Up. Does it cut the mustard? Reading with relish. All the hot dog stuff. Kickstarter Catch-Up. Kickstarter Catch-Up. Kickstarter Catch-Up.
I do have a Kickstarter catch-up to end the season. I've
Sure.
been trying to get caught up on stuff. I've just been super busy all season, I feel like, in my spare time, and I didn't do much. So I said, God damn it, I'm going to do at least one of the things on my list for the finale of the bonus show for the season. So I'm talking about, this is called Corridor. And this, I think I Kickstarted this during COVID, and it came out like summer of 21. And this is a big anthology that was edited by Christian Sager. He lives here in Portland, and I was trying to think, why in the hell did this even come across through my transom? And it's because I know Dave Wachter, one of the illustrators, and Dave Jordan is a friend of mine that I met through 11 O'Clock Comics a long time ago. And he's an illustrator and a musician, and he did this comic called Sad Man, which is this hilarious existential, like Peanuts version of like a superhero strip where it's just this, every day he would just kind of think of a strange thing, and I'll be posting some of these in here, but just these very cool. He's a big Kirby fan, and he would do lots of Kirby hand stuff, and just kind of like, again, like this Peanuts weird, like Charlie Brown karma, but the guy's a superhero, but he very rarely superheroes. Like it's mostly just his daily life of just questioning his existence. And I absolutely love it, but he contributed to this, and that's how I found out about it. And this is there was a British anthology called Black Static that was a horror anthology place for a lot of people to write. And it just died. I think they just published their last issue maybe a few months ago. But this was the plan for this was to fill that void. And the other plan was to pay their contributors well. So it's half prose, half comics. So one of the things in here is Malachi Ward and
oh, really?
the guy that did Ancestor did a story in here.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
So, there's comics. Just the through line is horror. There's prose in here. I've read almost the entire thing. It's pretty big. All different kinds of art. Again, I'm cutting in stuff that I'm going to be filming and showing. But yeah, just absolutely gorgeous. When it comes to horror, I'm a person that prefers short form, because I think the short story is the best format for horror as far as sustaining a mood and whatever, that's why I don't dig King or whatever that much. I like Ligotti and Barron and Laird Barron and people like that, because I think a 15-page story is where you can really get the most effective gut punch of just feeling creeped out and the other and the weird, and then a good solid ending, and you move on, and it sits with you like a nightmare when you wake up from a nightmare. That feeling all day long where it's just sticking to you like a wet fart. So I was stoked. I can't believe I this is a little bit beat up because I had it in my bag when I traveled for work. I kept sticking it in the suit thing and just thinking I'd get to it, but I never did. But yeah, so I finally did sit down and read it, and some really disturbing stuff in here. Big fan. They were trying to do a second volume, and they weren't happy with the crowdfunded thing, and chose a different route. And then I think essentially said we can't. They weren't going to do it unless they could pay the contributors what they thought they were worth. So for this first issue, which is like 98 pages, and as you can see, it's hugely oversized. It's very big. I think they were looking for $18,000, and they raised like 20. And that was so they could pay all the writers and artists what they thought their work was worth. And so
That's awesome.
A model that doesn't really unfortunately work that well. But hopefully they'll come back and do it again because, like I said, Black Static is gone, and there's a handful of other places, things that do like sci-fi and they and crime anthologies, stuff like that. But they're almost all on Kickstarter now. Like you just can't support that physical, consistent like biannual or whatever type of thing. And I would be happy to pay $20 once or twice a year for one of these.
Yeah, for sure.
Which I think what I paid for this. Like it's huge and it's gorgeous, and I just like supporting the horror writer community. So I'll put a link to the Kickstarter in here. You can still buy it from them. And they are trying to scare up an issue 2 and make it happen. They just, the stars were not aligned for them at the time that campaign went down. So they pulled it. Yeah, can't recommend that one enough. Super cool stuff and zero regrets. I'd back it again in a heartbeat.
That's awesome.
Okay. Do we have any words of wisdom or anything?
I don't know. I mean, I'm going to. Go on.
I did realize. When we played Jared's voicemail a few episodes back on the main show, that was like the one time we didn't play it live and listen to it together, then respond in the actual episode. And I just told you what Jared said, and I realized I forgot to tell you that he said, "Guys, you should do the Satana stories, like at least for the Patreon supporters or something. It's like do the thing where you read the dialogue and Matt cuts in the art or whatever."
Yeah.
So I would like to do that next season.
Sure.
Catch up because the art's gorgeous. I mean, it deserves to be done. So I would like to do those. But
cool.
I think we're going to take a little break when the main show's on break. I think we should take a break from the bonus show.
Yes, we should.
So I think we deserve that. But we are cooking up some fun stuff. I did put that piece for Star Gods up that my dad did when he was at University of Oregon. So I hope some people check that out. Our Star Gods. Yeah. There'll be some little fun things here and there that I'm going to kick out, but I'm going to actually try and take a break from producing the show for a month. And I don't know if you saw, but I updated the schedule for the Bronze Age buffet with tentative recording dates. Like if we take a month off, this is when we will be coming back. I don't know if you've seen that, but start populating that. And we've also got some guests requesting different characters to talk about. So I stuck those in there as well. So
great.
Yeah, we're ready to go.
I love it.
Cool. So this is going to come out tomorrow, which is when our finale's airing. So.
Oh yeah. Alicia and I are going to be driving up to Portland tomorrow morning, and we'll be at your house probably around 3. We'll get all ready, and we're going live at 6.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So if you're a person who listens to the bonus show when it drops, and you haven't made plans to be sitting in front of a YouTube conveyor of information by 6 p.m. Pacific time, get on it. Sweet.
Get on it. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, I'm excited. I have all of my ballot's done. I just need to fill out the matrix of all of our responses from our listeners, and some incidental music.
That's going to be good.
Yeah. Do you want a little taste?
Of course.
So I bought this sequencer, like MIDI thing, and like you can like kind of layer things. You know how people lay down beat, then you play on top of that, and it keeps looping.
Yeah.
And so I kind of accidentally made some. So let me see if I can find one. So these are for when like the show. First of all, Athena asked if she could do the intro, so Athena's doing the intro to the finale.
Cool.
So here's some loops I made when I was goofing around trying to figure out how this thing works. I think I can get it. Come on. Oh. Might not be time. See, that you can just listen to that all night.
I could.
So,
awesome.
if there's an unplanned break we have to sort our shit out or whatever, people can rock out to that.
Love it.
This is what I do like when I'm on a plane now. Anyway, that's just an inside, scoop for our supporters.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I'm excited. I've got the tuxedo all ready to go.
Yep, got the shirt ready.
Yeah, I just got to go to the liquor store and get some of those weird things. I have to hunt down some weird liquor tomorrow while you're driving up here. Because we do have a taste test going on.
Yikes.
So what I thought I would do was make those drinks and just make one and split them between the two of us, so we're not
that sounds perfect.
slurring by halfway through the episode.
Yes.
Okay. So we don't have to drink the whole thing either. We can taste it and move on. Like it's wine.
Yeah, which I think we probably should.
Yeah, it's not Montucky cold snack, folks. These are real drinks.
Yeah, those are real drinks.
All right. Well, I think that was a successful season, other than the whole goddamn sub basement of, Satan not coming into play.
Yeah, but if the Dark Lord was truly in charge, he wouldn't want to go to that basement.
Damn, God, you're smart. You always got everything figured out.
Yeah. So
my other regret this season, by the way, your cat kind of crapped out. Your cat was fun there mid-season and was always ready to be a squawk box.
Not anymore. No, she's done. Like she does not sit with me anymore, which is pretty sad because she literally sat with me every single time. She still will do it sometimes for the main episode, but no. I squeezed her one too many times. I ruined that relationship. It's pretty sad.
Should change her name to Mama Pantone.
Yeah, she should Mama Pantone.
We just watched that episode before we recorded tonight. So
God, I'm just gonna. I learned "You're Doomed" on the ukulele, and I sing that all the time.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
yep. All right, well, we did good.
Yeah, we did. We did really good. So, I guess one last time, we're just gonna thank the Dark Lord and say, "Hail Satan!"
Hail Satan, for the final time.
That's a show.
What do you ever do for us?
Not much.
He apparently couldn't roll a fucking 3 all goddamn season long. How powerful is he?
Not very.
Not that powerful.